And taking a look at our top story out of our nation's capital, it's a COVID testing campaign today after the president and first lady announced overnight they both tested positive for COVID-19. Less than an hour ago, Democratic presidential rival Joe Biden said he and his wife Jill both tested negative for the virus this morning. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said this morning the president was, quote, not only in good spirits, but very energetic following his diagnosis. His symptoms and that of the first lady are described as mild. Melania Trump also tweeting out her thanks this morning for all the support that she has been receiving. Several Republican advisors and leaders also have revealed various test results this morning. Vice President Mike Pence and the second lady both testing negative, along with Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris. All right, let's take a break right now. Bring in Chief Meteorologist Elena Russ to take a look at the Earth. Wow. Okay, there you are. I was going to say, boy, this will be a little first forecast.
Doing a little outer space theme, apparently. Yes, that's our beautiful image when the Earth is loading, and we're trying to build all of our maps on that sphere out there. Right now we're at 85. Now yesterday was 97. Today we're expecting much of the same. Average is 86. So this isn't record-breaking heat, but it's definitely hot out there, and that's all because that high pressure is in control. The fresh air going all the way up into Canada and down into the Great Lakes region. So for us, just some high thin clouds. We're staying in the mid-90s right on through the weekend. Overnight low tonight into tomorrow at 70, Saturday night into Sundays at 68. That sounds pretty great in the morning first thing when you wake up, but it's not windows open weather because that air quality is so bad out there. We'll talk more about the smoke and when we'll catch a little break from this heat coming up.
All right, very good. Thank you. Happening right now, this is a live picture from the Liberty Bell downtown, where the Latino COVID-19 task force is scheduled to hold a press briefing that was slated to start at the top of the hour to address the issue of testing, coronavirus testing in the Latino community. It's part of an effort to help Kern County move into the next tier of the state designated system. Jay Tamsey with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, local attorney David Torres, supervisor Leticia Perez, just some of the local leaders who are on hand, scheduled to be on hand for this morning's press conference. They are talking about the need for more testing within the community and self-isolation when those tests come back positive. Now, of the known positive cases, local Hispanics make up 232 of the 381 deaths related to COVID and 55% of the total positive results. It looks like they are still getting things together to get started. We're going to monitor this, and when it happens, we'll of course bring that to you live streaming. Well, today Bakersfield College is hosting free COVID-19 testing in collaboration with that task force. 23 ABC's Daniela Garrido has more on how you can take part.
The urgency to inform, test, and treat COVID-19 cases in the Hispanic community continues to grow both nationally and locally. In a recent interview, Dr. Fauci said nationwide, Latinos represent 45% of deaths among people younger than 21. Locally, nearly 18,000 Hispanics in Kern County have tested positive for COVID-19, according to the Kern County Public Health COVID-19 dashboard.
Well, what we're recognizing, and you're seeing the numbers across the country, is that college-age students are some of the increasing, young adults are increasing in numbers in terms of the positive testing rate. And so, again, being able to communicate and provide that information to this population or this segment of the population is important.
To tackle the local problem, the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has developed a COVID-19 task force in partnership with the Bakersfield College.
Well, the task force is comprised of 30 prominent leaders here in Kern County. We felt the need to come together to organize and make sure that we flatten the curve within the Latino community.
Last month, the Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force held their first event, free mobile testing at Bakersfield College, where they tested over 200 people in one day.
It's very important that we also reach out to faculty at Bakersfield College and students and those large Latino populations on the east side. We wanted to make sure that we were able to have those folks have accessibility to these mobile units.
Today, the task force will hold their second free mobile testing at Bakersfield College from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
I appreciate that the Latino COVID-19 Task Force has a youth-focused outreach plan. It's necessary, it's important, and so knowing that we're providing timely information, that we're providing mobile testing sites in easily accessible areas, all of those efforts will make a difference in helping us reopen our communities.
In Bakersfield, I'm Danielle Garrido, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Right now, Albertsons, Vaughn's, and Pavilion's pharmacies are offering at-home COVID test kits. Albertsons piloted the test kits in parts of Texas. Company officials say that customers appreciate the convenience and the innovation of getting to take it at home. Now, in order to get tested, you just have to complete an online questionnaire that will be reviewed. And for more information, you can find that on our website, turnto23.com. Starting today, you can also get a COVID test at the Marriott downtown on Truxtun Avenue from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Now, the testing's free, but you have to register online before showing up to the hotel. We have a link to register on our website, turnto23.com. Right now, let's go back out live to the Liberty Bell, where the Latino COVID-19 Task Force press briefing has just begun, and listen in.
And many other prominent leaders from various industries, law, education, health and wellness, food and beverage, media, unions, Hispanic chamber leaders, Latinx, and businesses, small businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, March 2020 took many of us by surprise. A new pandemic affected our country, our state, and most importantly, our Kern County where we live, especially our Latino community. Since then, folks have tried to adapt to the new normal, wearing masks, social distancing, and following other guidelines set forth by the CDC. No one could have anticipated the effects of this self-isolation, being quarantined, and other unfortunate impact this virus has had on our Latino community. As time progressed, the folks who we stand on this stage with witnessed the Latino population numbers increase by the hundreds, then the thousands in Kern County. We come together to form the Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force. Each task force member adamant to flatten the curve and make a lasting difference in our Latino community. Our mission to save lives through outreach, education, and awareness, to find solutions to the disproportionate social and economic impact COVID-19 has had on our Latino community. This is who we are, and this is who we stand for. Our silos work independently. Our subcommittees work strategically daily to achieve our goals and initiatives, including strengthening Kern County's COVID-19 testing numbers, Latinx youth outreach, identifying farm worker challenges, partnering with Kern County Public Health, creating a strategic campaign in English and in Spanish throughout media outlets and social media platforms, provide free COVID-19 mobile site testing, assisting businesses and employee outreach, mental and behavior health, focusing on COVID, post-COVID individuals, essential and non-essential workers, among other goals and initiatives that we have. Over 65% make up this disproportionate rates in Latino community of Kern County. Our task force will focus its efforts in rural areas of Kern County, especially those of Latino descent and underserved communities. Not only do we want to provide education and awareness, we want to save lives in our Latino community. We urge our community, our gente, to get tested. We want our economic and our economy to open doors, children and teens to go back to school and to live freely, visit our parents, visit our abuelitos, churches to open. Together we need your help to make this possible, and we can do it. I believe as Latinos, powerful in numbers, can achieve what many folks in this country, this county, believed once was impossible is now possible when we work together to flatten the curve and work towards achieving our goals which is to move the metrics in our direction, not tier 2, but tier 4. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And next, I would like to invite to the podium Ms. Norma Rojas Mora, a task force member. She will be addressing the media in Spanish.
Thank you, Jay. Buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros esta mañana. Mi nombre es Norma Rojas Mora y formo parte del grupo de trabajo COVID-19 Latino del Condado de Kern. Me encuentro con Jay Tamsey, el cofundador y encargado.
You are listening to a live press conference right now from outside the Liberty Bell downtown. The Latino COVID-19 Task Force hosting this press conference this morning, they say, to urge more testing in the Latino community as part of an effort to help Kern County move out of the next tier, into the next tier of the state's designated system. The one big failure, according to state officials in Kern County's metrics, is the lack of overall testing. So we'll continue to follow this press conference. We will provide it for you on our streaming platforms. Well, if you still need to get your flu shot, Kaiser Permanente has free vaccines tomorrow from 9 to 1 at Kane Memorial AME Church on California Avenue. You don't have to be a Kaiser member to take part in this drive-through clinic. Shots will be available for those 6 months of age and older and are limited to the first 300 people who show up. This morning, we're also learning that the Niles Star Chinese restaurant in East Bakersfield has been shut down by the health department. According to officials, the restaurant was closed after it was determined to have a vermin infestation. Public Health saying that rodent droppings and urine along with roaches were found in the restaurant. Public Health reports the restaurant remained open during that infestation. Tomorrow morning, Councilman Andre Gonzalez is asking East Bakersfield to come out and join him in a cleanup at the David Nelson Pocket Park. Gonzalez fronting the event with the Children First campaign. It is called Keep East Bakersfield Beautiful, and it takes place every month. Volunteers are asked to meet at the Pocket Park at 8 a.m. Saturday morning, and then groups will spread out and clean up the surrounding area. Gonzalez telling 23 there's a lot of work to be done, but he wants residents to know that doing these cleanups does make an impact.
Like many parts of the city, have a constant problem with a number of issues related to trash and bulky waste, illegal dumping. And so for well over 7 years now, we've participated in these monthly cleanup days to bring East Bakersfield residents together.
Gonzalez also added that anyone and everyone is welcome to join in. It is tomorrow from 8 to 10 a.m. at the David Nelson Pocket Park. It is week number 7 of the live stream vaccine concert series. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have bringing it to you. Another musical act taking the stage tonight live at the Fox Theater. It's J2 and the Business, as well as Crimson Sky. They'll be on the stage tonight. You can watch it all happen on our social media and streaming platforms like Roku, Alexa, and Apple TV. Downbeat for this show, slated to begin at 7 o'clock. And for this week's Foodie Friday, 23 ABC's Daniela Garrido brings a little Cuban spice with a traditional dish to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month.
Good morning, everyone. For this week's Foodie Friday, we're continuing to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, and this week we are doing a traditional Cuban Picadillo dish. I grew up in Miami, where 20% of the population was actually born in Cuba, so I love the culture, but I especially love the food. And this week, we're gonna bring in a special guest to my kitchen. We have my mom here, and she's gonna help us make that Cuban Picadillo dish.
To make Cuban picadillo, you'll need these ingredients.
Ground beef, onion, tomato, salt, pepper, and
Worcester sauce.
To get started, you'll want to saute chopped up sweet onions and minced garlic in an oiled pan on medium heat until the chopped onions get soft. Then you'll want to add in your ground beef and immediately start breaking it up into pieces using your spatula. You can spice it up with salt and pepper, then let it simmer and cook until there is no red left on the meat. My mom and I like to add Worcester sauce, and you can also add tomato sauce.
you put the tomato sauce, mix
Then you'll want to let the ground beef soak up the tomato sauce as much as possible. This is usually what takes the longest. You can also chop up those olives and add them for even more flavor. And once it's all soaked up and blended, you can serve it over anything that you would like, but the typical Cubans do it this way.
Picadillo, arroz blanco, mariquitas y aguacate.
And that is traditional Cuban picadillo.
Very nice. Oh, now I'm hungry. Also, the big Kern County Fair food drive-throughs coming to an end this weekend. It is today through the weekend to from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day, so it's already underway. Today, tomorrow, Sunday at the fairgrounds in the parking lot. To order, you have to go through the South P Street entrance through that parking lot. All right, let's take a look long range. I know we just see the smoke, but eventually it's got to leave, right?
Once we get the fires suppressed
Yeah.
and we can finally get some strong winds to get this smoke out of here, yes, the smoke will leave. But we still have about another 2 to 4 weeks in many of those forecasts to get those fires surrounded. And then even once the fire crews can get them contained, they're still going to be burning in the middle. So several more weeks of bad air quality expected. You see that bad smoke up and down the entire state from the major fires that are burning. There are dozens out there, but these complex fires, the Creek Fire, the Glass Fire, the Zog Fire, all big smoke producers for us. So there's nowhere for it to go. With high pressure and control, it's a sinking, stable air mass that traps that smoke and the smog as well right here where we breathe. So as we take a look at temperatures today, it's going to be stable and hot, smoky. There's that haze on the horizon. There's not a lot of wind to push this smoke out. Just a little bit of a weak northwesterly breeze, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, to bring more of that smoke in. It fills in overnight, especially in the Kern River Valley, due to your close proximity to the SQF complex fire. So some pretty bad smoke for the next several days, because you see that futurecast just keeps that high pressure, that dominant ridge right over the top of us through at least Sunday. Early next week, a little bit of a westerly flow, some high clouds. It provides some mixing, so the air quality should come down, but it'll still be fairly hazy. Temperatures come down, but it's still above average. The clouds come through, but there's no rain in those clouds. Yeah, it's an improvement, but it's not great. Now, it does look like later next week into the weekend, we do have a slightly better improvement. A nice onshore flow, some westerly winds taking us to more seasonal low 80s Friday into Saturday. The potential to see some 70s next weekend. That's about 10 days away, but we're excited for it next Sunday. Kern River Valley 90s through the weekend as well into early next week, but it is falling slowly. It just doesn't feel like fall just yet. Tehachapi and Fraser Park, some 80s for you in that extended hazy forecast.
That is going to do it for us here on this special digital edition of 23 ABC News at 11 a.m. Be sure to join us for the very latest information, headlines, breaking news, and more later today at 5. If it happens between now and then, you can find it on our mobile and tablet app, our website, and all of our streaming platforms. Have a great Friday.